All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Invest Atlanta's webinar, our small business webinar for Opportunity Zones. We're so excited to have you here. Before we get started, I want to introduce myself because I forget to do that every time. My name is Kelsey Maynor. I am the small business advocate here at Invest Atlanta. I will be introducing Maya Jackson and Aaron Sarowitz as well, our program managers for business retention and expansion and business attraction. We're excited to have you all here as we talk about opportunity zones and what they are, what they provide, how you can get access to them. So we're excited to have that. But before we get started, I do want to give you some of our house rules, just real quick. First things first, when we're giving the presentation, we want to make sure that we can get through all the information. And because we have some information to share, I prefer that you save your questions until the end because we may answer your question in the presentation. But if you have a question that's really burning on your heart that you like, I have to get it out before I forget, utilize the chat. So we won't be doing like live. You can get on camera and ask questions. So we'll be addressing the chat. So if you have any questions, please go to the chat or the Q&A part, type in your question, and then at the end, I will be bringing up those questions and answering them with our team, Maya and Aaron. Outside of that, I want to say thank you again. This is our third webinar of the year for small business. And you can expect every month for us to have 2 webinars every month, and as well as our in-person events as well. So be on the lookout for that coming up at Pittsburgh Yard. So today we will be talking about opportunity zones, and I want to bring on Maya Jackson and Aaron Sarowitz. Guys, come on in.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to virtually see all of your names. I can't see your faces, but it's good to see some familiar names in the room. As Kelsey said, I'm Maya Jackson. I serve as the Business Retention and Expansion Program Manager here at Invest Atlanta. So I support our economic development team as well as the wider city of Atlanta, small businesses and regular sized businesses in getting connected with resources.
Aaron.
All right. Thanks, Kelsey. Thanks, Maya. Good evening, everyone. So happy that you're here with us. My name is Aaron Sarowitz. I am the project manager for business attraction. And like Maya, I support the economic development team broadly and just work on working with businesses, bringing them in, showing them all the great things that the city of Atlanta has to offer.
So we won't waste too much of your time and we will jump right into the presentation.
All right, so that's my cue. Thanks, Maya. So before we kind of dive into the opportunity zones, we thought it'd be good to kind of introduce you to Invest Atlanta as an organization, if you don't already know. So Invest Atlanta serves as the Economic Development Authority for the City of Atlanta. We're comprised of the Urban Residential Finance Authority, the Downtown Development Authority, and the Atlanta Economic Renaissance Corporation, as you can see. We also work with different subsidiaries of Invest Atlanta to help achieve our mission. That's the Women's Entrepreneurship Initiative. I need to slow down. Atlanta Beltline, Inc., and Atlanta Emerging Markets, Inc. And then we're governed by a 9-member board of directors, which is chaired by the mayor, Dickens. So a little bit about our mission, as I touched on earlier, and that mission is to advance Atlanta's global competitiveness by growing a strong economy, building vibrant communities, and increasing economic prosperity. So we achieve that by promoting all of our core values. I guess at the heart of which is our equity core value. So we all probably heard or read the AJC story about this income inequality issue. So we know that if you're born into poverty here, you have a more difficult time climbing out of poverty. So when it's all said and done, that's our main goal, right, at Invest Atlanta, is to change that narrative and the reality by promoting equitable prosperity and competitiveness for all in Atlanta. So then a little bit about our organizational chart. We have 2 main departments, and that's the economic development team and the community development team. So economic development is split more or less into 2 teams within it. That's the business attraction, retention and expansion team, which Maya and I are involved with, and then the small business team as well. So they work to help all small businesses within the city both currently active and then looking to come into the city. And then community development, of course, focuses on tax allocation districts, housing initiatives, commercial and neighborhood development, and revitalization as well. So then you see the workforce development on there. So we work with WorkSource Atlanta, who has recently moved from Invest Atlanta back under the City of Atlanta umbrella. So like I said, we still work with them, but now they're just within the City of Atlanta by itself. So with that, I'll turn it over to Maya to talk more about opportunity zones.
Thank you, Aaron. So as Aaron mentioned, everything we do here at Invest Atlanta is equity focused, and specifically our team, the economic development team, we work towards creating good quality jobs for Atlantans and helping all Atlantans build wealth. So whether that's through job creation, attracting new businesses to the city, making sure our current businesses are supported and connected to the resources and funding that they need, we try and do all of that under our umbrella. One of the ways that we do that is through incentives. So some of our incentives are statutory, some are discretionary, where our board decides the amount of funding. Opportunity zones are one of our statutory incentives. So that means no matter what the size or type of business you have, as long as you meet those qualifications, you are eligible for this incentive. So no one has to vote on this for you. There's no president or CEO who decides this. As long as you are in one of these designations and you meet the qualifications, you receive the benefit. So what exactly is an opportunity zone? I want to first start off by making sure everyone knows there's a difference between a federal opportunity zone and a state opportunity zone. The program we're talking about today is a state opportunity zone. It's run by the Department of Community Affairs, AKA the state of Georgia, and they oversee this program. So it's not just Atlanta specific, but it's available throughout the entire state of Georgia. For today's purposes, obviously, we're just talking about Atlanta-based opportunity zones. The actual incentive itself is a job tax credit, and it is a $3,500 job tax credit for every employee that you have over 2 employees. So the only qualifications is that you're in one of these zones you see here on the right. So this is a map of all of the existing opportunity zones in Georgia. So the red is, again, those designations, and the blue is Atlanta. So just for orientation, this right here is downtown. This is the west side. This is the AUC off of this is the AUC off of MLK. This is North Avenue, and then Metropolitan Parkway. So the zones are pretty spread out. We have a lot in central Atlanta and then some to the west and the east. So if you're a business in any of these zones, you qualify for that tax credit, and it's good for up to 5 years. So it's not just 1 year, it's for 5 years, and it's for every single employee that you have. So I'm going to quiz you guys with a little bit of math. Say you have 10 employees who work at your restaurant or your retail business. You are located in Auburn Avenue, and you want to file them, you want to use this job tax credit. So the first thing you want to do, hey, am I in this zone designation? So we have this handy dandy tool that tells you whether any address within the city of Atlanta is in a designation. So what you'll do is type in your address at the top. Unfortunately, I haven't memorized every single address in Atlanta yet, but it's easy to zoom in as well and just see. So what you can do is type in your address here, or you can just search around the map. But the green
Can we try one?
Yeah, of course. What's the address you got
Let's
for me?
do 340
Mm-hmm.
Auburn Avenue.
Okay, perfect. So say your business is at 340 Auburn Avenue, and you're like, you just moved there, you're wondering, do I apply for this incentive? Okay, so it's in the green, so that means you apply for the incentive. And another good way to look at this tool is to look at the overall opportunity zone. So it tells you what the name of the opportunity zone you're in is. It would be City of Atlanta, Auburn Avenue Opportunity Zone. It tells you when this opportunity zone started, which was in 2013, and it tells you when it ends, which is 2023. So that's this year, December 31st, 2023. Department of Community Affairs will no longer accept applications for the the Auburn Avenue Opportunity Zone. So if you're looking to move to Auburn Avenue, you might want to go ahead and get over there so you can take advantage of this tax credit.
Oh, wait. I was supposed to wait for the question to the end. I'm sorry. So if you would apply right now, even though it says it ends in 2023, I can still get my 5 years? Is this the application?
That's a perfect question, Kelsey. Exactly. You can still submit your application and take advantage of the benefit for the next 5 years. But in 2024, January 1st, you cannot submit your application. It'll be too late. So no matter when you apply, you get the full benefit of the tax credit. This is just the deadline for applications. Thanks, Kelsey. So not all opportunity zones are created equal. They are all different designations that Invest Atlanta submits on behalf of the city. So for example, this is Morris Brown. It has a smaller number of parcels, 49 parcels, and it has a different expiration date. So you want to make sure that you're checking for the location you're in and not grouping this information as one for all. So I showed you guys the first step, which is my business or is my business in an opportunity zone? The next step is submitting this application. This application is a one-pager. It's probably one of the easiest applications that Invest Atlanta has. We need the most basic information: your name, your address, who's in charge, and their signature. That's it. We do the rest of the work for you. So Invest Atlanta has a part of the application that they fill out, and then we submit that to DCA. DCA reviews it, and in about 2 to 3 weeks, they will send you a letter. The letter says this person is certified as being in a state opportunity zone. And when you go to file your tax credits and file your taxes and claim this job tax credit, you will provide the completed application and the certification letter as a part, and you will get your free money essentially. So it's very easy, it's quick, it takes literally 5 minutes, and you get that $3,500 for each employee. So I want to kind of touch base on the proven benefits of having opportunity zones. The whole goal for these areas is to promote revitalization and redevelopment in maybe historically stagnant areas. So we are going out in the city and looking, where have we not seen a lot of commercial activity lately? Where has economic development and community development maybe not been the forefront? That's what DCA is looking for as well. So these are areas we're submitting applications for these designations for areas where we want to see growth, we want to see job creation, we want to see new life and new businesses come in. So a few great examples, I believe, are what we have on the screen here, which is Summerhill. They are a designation that was approved, I can't remember the date, but it was approved maybe about 9 or 10 years ago. And it takes some time for economic development to happen, but if you've driven by Georgia Avenue or Hank Aaron, you've seen the multi-tenant center that's going up there. They have a Publix, and they have some freestanding units going up, and lots of, I think it's already completely leased out. So this is the result of an opportunity zone. This is what we use to attract businesses and attract developers to start roots in communities and revitalize these neighborhoods. Another great example, which I take advantage of quite often, is Lee and White Street. So they, again, started several years ago, and we're starting to see the fruits of this incentive in the neighborhood. So this is right along the West Side Beltline Trail. If you've been on that corridor, you've noticed the development there. There are a bunch of breweries, some coffee shops, I think a whiskey tasting room. And this is a result of the opportunity zone. Businesses and companies move to places where they can take advantage of this tax credit. So that's a good way to know where development is coming, and where are we, like maybe in 10 or 15 years, where can we anticipate seeing new life and new activity, following where these opportunity zones are going. And maybe you as a business could be the forefront of those waves. So I kind of have mentioned the designation process and the designation term on our side. So on the business's side, all you all have to do is apply. But on Invest Atlanta's side, we are actually working on coming up with these designations ourselves. So if we go back to these maps, each of these different designations different designations, Invest Atlanta staff has sat down, they work with our partners, they work with community stakeholders to identify areas where we want to see these zones coming. So we go boots on the ground, we go through these neighborhoods, we take pictures of literally every single parcel, we create maps in-house, we get letters from the community, letters from the mayor's office, letters from the governor, in order to submit an application for these designations. So they don't just pop up out of nowhere. They don't come from DCA. They come from Invest Atlanta or your local economic development authority applying for that designation. And then eventually DCA makes a final decision about what parcels can be included. And that's how we get this map saying what the official designations are. So what is DCA looking for when Invest Atlanta submits a designation application to them? So first, they're looking for areas displaying pervasive poverty. So typically, these areas are in lesser distressed census tracts or areas that have 15% or greater poverty. They're also looking for general underdevelopment. So areas, again, that haven't seen revitalization in 10, 15, 20 years, areas that have low diversity in retail mixes. So they're not gonna have, huge chain stores. They're gonna have a lot of things that look the same, and there's not gonna be a lot of diversity in the retail mix there. They're also looking for general distress and blight. So these are physical conditions of the property. This isn't a statistic or data. This is what are we seeing with our naked eye. So if there's a lot of code compliance issues, the community in general doesn't have high property maintenance, there's a lot of graffiti, there's not a lot of upkeep of infrastructure, that's what helps push those applications too. So we're really focused on taking underdeveloped, underrepresented areas, submitting applications for those communities, and then working on actively attracting businesses and residents to those communities through this incentive. And I'll toss it over to Aaron. He'll kind of go into depth about what are some opportunities we see with existing opportunity zones and how can we work on leveraging and making the most out of this incentive.
Yeah, thanks, Maya. So what we're looking at now, I guess, Crossroads Center, Lakewood Park, Metropolitan Village District, Cleveland Avenue, the Gateway, and the Kmart area. So those are kind of where we're focused on in terms of when I speak with businesses about attraction, coming into the city. This is where we're kind of currently targeting for opportunity zones as a tool. So, I think she highlighted three great examples of how opportunity zones can be successful. The Publix in Summer Hill, what's going on in South Downtown, and then of course Lee and White development. I think those are, again, just great examples of how opportunity zones work, right? And so, we're focused, I guess, refocusing on this area, on these areas in particular to drive development things. So like I said, when I try to attract new businesses here, and Maya works with current businesses too that are in the city, maybe look to expand or maybe just move. We really want to try to drive them to these focus areas. And so in these particular areas, we haven't seen businesses, I guess, in the Southeast area, opportunity zones, and we want to change that. So again, we're focused on driving current prospective businesses to these zones and work closely with our neighborhood partners and the folks who live there to promote awareness just of opportunity zones like this conversation tonight, and education, so we can bring opportunity zones to these areas and see those catalytic developments happen. So again, it doesn't necessarily, the scale doesn't necessarily matter with opportunity zones. We can start small and see those dominoes start to fall as success builds and snowballs. So that's kind of how opportunity zones work. We want to see folks utilize the tool at a smaller level, small business level, and then watch those fruits kind of grow and grow and grow. And so we can bring development that these neighborhoods and people who live there are demanding. So there we go.
Well, That's it from us. I do see a couple of questions in the chat. Kelsey, am I free to start answering them, or do you read them out?
Hold on, wait 1 second. I want to
Okay.
listen, guys. I'm excited because this presentation and the questions that I was asking, I know I was supposed to wait to the end, but I wanted to know these questions. I wanted to know the answers to them, and that was a really great presentation. Like, I'm really impressed because I didn't know about any of this stuff, and I know sometimes if I don't know, I know nobody else knows. So I was really excited to see this and have this this webinar today. So let's dig into a couple questions, and then hopefully I will. Oh, I'm looking at questions, and the question is like, check this address for me, and that's what really I was about to do too, because I want to see you navigate that that I don't call it a portal, but can you navigate that website one more time? I want to check something because I want to check an address, number one, but I also wanted to see how user friendly it was. I saw you do it, but I was more impressed by looking at the map than I was at what you were doing. So is that okay with you if you go back and look up another address?
Of course, and I will drop the link in the chat as well. Or Aaron, if you want to drop the link in the chat.
Yep, I'll get it.
Can you see
So
my
we're going
screen,
to check.
Kelsey?
Yes, we're going to check two addresses. The first address is 934 Glenwood Ave.
Okay, so unfortunately, this is not in an opportunity zone. And I know this area pretty well. So maybe let's think, when we think about the criteria for what Invest Atlanta can apply for a designation for, this area is pretty developed. So just for orientation for some people, this is the Kroger on Glenwood Avenue. Somewhere on this map, somewhere over here, there's a Chick-fil-A there. There's, I think it's Maynard Jackson High School. This is right along the Beltline. There's a Jenny's there. This area doesn't really meet most of
Glenwood Park.
Yep. It doesn't meet most of the qualifications that we're looking for when applying for the designation. There's not much blight or general distress. Off the top of my head, I don't think the poverty level would be below 15%. So they don't really meet the qualifications, and that's a good thing. You want to see that development. And
the real answer is 10 years ago it was.
Yes, exactly.
Because it was around that was a landfill that was redeveloped, and they utilized tax credits to make it that way. So that should be one of our slides of what was redeveloped.
Exactly. And that kind of goes in with Krishna's question. What happens if our business is 1.5 blocks away from the opportunity zone? These parcels, again, are hand selected. So if it's not in the green, unfortunately, it doesn't meet the potential for the job tax credit.
Now, Maya, question. So are home businesses, are they allowed to have these tax credits? So say I have a business and I fall into one of these areas, and I live on Auburn Avenue, and I have 5 people that work for me, but my office is a home address.
Great, that's a great question. Thank you. I think it's Tanya, or no, someone else, but Martha. So typically when we're applying the specific parcels, they have to be commercial parcels. So unlike the federal opportunity zone that does include some residential pieces, this piece only includes commercial properties. So home addresses typically won't be eligible for the designation. Because if you think about it, how many employees are coming into your home and working for your home when this is for jobs created?
So I think let's do it anyway. Why not? Let's check. So where we pulled up right now? What green space is this that we're looking at?
Yeah, so on the right-hand side, this is a good tool to play around with. You can actually see poverty blocks. So all of this pink is where you'll be able to see that there's 15% or greater poverty in the area. And again, that's what we use to apply for the designation.
Maya, I'm asking you to use this tool one more time. Can we go over to Campbellton Road?
Okay. Oh, zoomed a little too far out. There we go.
Not yet, huh? Well, a little bit at the
Right
top.
here.
Nope, nothing yet.
So are you looking for some green, Kelsey, or what are you looking for?
I was looking for some green.
So that means we haven't applied for a designation there, and there's no existing opportunity zone designation there.
Okay.
But to the
Okay.
east a little bit, you'll see on Metropolitan Parkway, these are the zones that Aaron pointed out and discussed on the map. We have quite a bit: Lakewood Amphitheater, Cleveland Avenue, the old Kmart shop, the Kroger. There are some to the east, but not as many are filling in the west right now.
All right. We got another question.
Mhm.
Now, for the tax credit, is there a minimum salary that employees must get paid to take advantage of this tax credit?
So there is not technically a minimum salary, but you do have to pay in excess of the lowest average wage of any county in the state. I don't know what that wage is right now, but whatever, I'm sure since we're in Atlanta and our minimum wage here is $15, we're probably paying a bit higher than whatever the lowest wage for a county in Georgia is, but you have to pay higher than that along with your employees working more than 35 hours and receiving health benefits.
And they have to be, well, maybe not a W-2 employee, but they can't be a 1099.
Exactly.
Whoa. Slow down. So they need to be W-2 employees and not 1099 employees.
Yes, so they have to actually be employed by that company full-time, getting hours, getting benefits. Most 1099 employees or independent contractors don't receive benefits from their employer.
Right.
So this is mainly for full-time employees.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Okay. Let's go to another question. No, I already did that. We did the Vine City. They want to look in Vine City. We're going to put the map in there. We're looking for addresses. We're going to put that map in there. Thank you. I'm going to make sure I'm answering questions. All right. If my office is inside of a building that is in the zone, do I apply as my own business or do they have to apply?
You would apply as the business.
But the building that you're in needs to be a commercial business. I mean, a commercial building, right?
Correct.
Yes.
But what about a co-working space?
You can apply as the business if that's where your permanent address is.
Okay. If the business is an LLC with the approved tax credit to be filed for a 1040 state return, will the refund be coming from the state? Yes, because it's a state. Well, it's a state. This is a state tax, not a federal tax. So this will be coming from state taxes when you file your taxes for your business. Boom. I know this answer. Eniola, hey, how are you? I know people's names. Can we submit a request to evaluate the zone to include our street, or is that not an option? Oh, that's a good question. So, all right. So we just looked at Campbellton Road and know that Campbellton Road is pink, is I don't know what, but there's no green. How do we turn that pink to green? How do I, if I'm a business in this area, how do I talk to Invest Atlanta and make sure that we are pushing for that area?
Sure. So it's all about advocating for your community, getting involved in your neighborhood groups, having these conversations, bringing our eyes to areas that we may not have previously been looking at or thinking about, and then just acting as a stakeholder in your community. That helps us go out and evaluate these areas. We do this yearly. So there's always an opportunity for us to add new designations and work on those. So there's not an official request process, but it's more of a conversation that we can begin to have internally and with our partners.
And who do I send them to? Maya, do I send them to you? Aaron?
Sure.
Who's gonna be the spokesperson for the Opportunity Zone advocacy that's about to come your way?
Look, I am the Opportunity Zone manager, so I'm happy to bring that up and receive any requests related to it.
All right, we'll hold you to it. Great. We're going down the line. The pink is no, wait. Is the pink Opportunity Zone or is it green? Green is the Opportunity Zone. Pink is the poverty line, correct? That's what was on the map?
Exactly. So on the right, you can kind of toggle with it, but Kelsey is correct. The green is approved opportunity zones, and that pink that I brought up is census block groups that have 15% or more greater poverty. Yes.
All right. I got more questions. I'm trying to clear them out so I can not ask the same question twice. Got you on that. Oh, hey, Aniola. I think we've answered all the questions. Are there no more questions? Ask the questions. Come on. We're only 30 minutes in. I'm gonna hold you for another at least 5 to 10. I told Maya I was not letting her out that easy. If you have any more questions, please put them in the chat. These are serious things. I think I had more questions on. All right. So if we've identified, I'm in a space, I'm in a place where I would love to have these tax credits. My neighborhood, I put a business over here because it's close to my neighborhood, and it's just no development happening over here. Like, what if we want to get Campbellton Road on this list, and I send an email to you, like, what's the likelihood that next year my pink would turn to green? Do we know that process?
There's no official process. I would say call your council person. So before you call me, call the mayor, call your council person, and let them know, like, hey, I think we need an opportunity zone over here on Campbellton Road. You know, I know what DCA is looking for. I see blight, I see pervasive poverty, I see general distress. You know, we're meeting all the qualifications. I see underdevelopment. Like, could you talk to Invest in Land about this tool? Like, don't you think it would be a good idea? I think it would help bring some good businesses, some good redevelopment over to our area. That would be my #1 recommendation.
What about state legislators? Does it go up to them too? I'm just curious. Just make sure we cover all the bases.
Hey, let's call the president. You know, let's hit every base. The governor, state legislator, House, Warnock, all of them. Get everybody involved.
Well, that's what they're there for, right? I mean,
exactly. They're your representatives.
Put them to work. Then
look at all these questions. So is this tax credit, is there a funding limit? Like, how much funding is in this program? Is it possible that I apply and they're like, oh, we ran out of funding?
So I don't think there's a funding limit. Again, this isn't an Invest Atlanta program. It's a state program, but I don't think there is like any kind of limit. If you're a nerd like me, the legislation on opportunity zones is really interesting. I enjoyed reading it. So maybe read the legislation. That'll give you a good idea of the spirit behind the program and its intent. But there is no funding limit per se, and they won't run out of like tax credits for you because it's not real money. It's just a credit off of what you're filing for your taxes. So it's not like it's a grant. They're just kind of taking that off your bill.
Yep. It's a rebate.
Yeah.
It's a rebate. Cool. There's a question that says, I will link to the Zoom where there'll be recordings. Absolutely. This is recorded. After this, Michelle will be sending you all an email with an overview of what we talked about. There's going to be a link to the video, and all our contact information will be in there. So if you have any more questions about opportunity zones, I would recommend, if you missed the beginning, go back, because Maya gave a great presentation at the beginning, and Aaron, about opportunity zones and how you qualify. We'll make sure that that link to access this map we're filling with is also in that email, so you have access to that, so you can check the addresses and see if your business is in an opportunity zone, or if your business is in a one of those pink areas where there's opportunity to have an opportunity zone. Also, I'll make sure that you can reach out to me, and if we want to hit the state council members or the mayor, let's if your zone is pink and you want it to be green, let's figure it out. Ooh, is the tax credit retroactive? No.
I don't know for certain, but I would guess not. Maya?
It's not. So it has to be your present conditions and a present designation. Everything has to be existing. And
but if you apply, you'll get it from here on out for 5 years. So, you know, I mean, you may have missed out on the last 2 years, but you can get it for the next 5.
So they said, if we want to start or move our business to help these zones, where should we start? That would be me. I think go ahead, Maya.
I don't know if I fully understand the question, but maybe Kelsey, you can help out.
Well, if I can read the question correctly, I believe they're asking. So we saw what opportunity zones can bring to an area,
Mhm.
right? So if I'm a business or I want to be a business, I'm like, hey, I want to be a part of this redevelopment. I think
Yeah.
the first step you do is get your business in the city of Atlanta, one of these opportunity zones, and set up a good business and hire some people in the neighborhood from a surrounding area so that we can have good paying jobs. We told you it has to be at least 35 hours, have to be above minimum wage for the state. Like, get in there, get some business going, hire some people, and you will just, that's how we start to jumpstart our economic development in these areas. And then
Yeah.
call a friend who has a business and we pick up shop right here. That's how we do it.
So Invest Atlanta, we do help with site selection. So if you're curious about, hey, can you help? I need some help finding some commercial property? Invest Atlanta can help you with that. And even further, it's easier for us because when we run those reports, there's a little box that says in an opportunity zone. We just click that, and then it'll filter everything out that's not in an opportunity zone. So then it's, you can see what's on the market, and we'll send it to you, and you can, work with a, commercial real estate agent, or, just kind of do it on your own. But you can find locations that way as well.
And that's what Aaron does. So guys, again, we'll make sure that their information is not only right there if you want to take a screenshot, but it will be emailed to you as well. If you have questions about, moving your business somewhere in the city of Atlanta and want to know more about what incentives or any perks are involved in being there, how much a space should cost in this area, he can run a CoStar report for you for your business. Maya is also available. She said she'll help you with the opportunity zones, and we can email her and fight for the pink to turn to green.
Yeah.
But also, we have a couple more questions in here. Oh, it's getting big. Is there any way to learn about the progress or performance of existing opportunity zone projects like the West End Mall?
Sure. So the West End Mall, I don't believe is in an opportunity zone now. It might be in a federal one, but it's not in a state one. As far as any private development or redevelopment, I'm not sure where you can get an official update of what's going on with West End Mall. But we do want to encourage you, for those who don't see an opportunity zone near you, please set up some time with myself or Aaron. I'd love to ignite those conversations with communities and different stakeholders, and we'll do our best to advocate and discuss other tools that we have. Opportunity zones aren't the only tools in our toolkit. We have different incentive, different programs. It sounds like some of you are connected with Kelsey, so I'm sure he shared most, if not all of them, and that he is like on it with that. So any of us on this call, you can reach out to us and we can let you know everything that Invest Atlanta has to offer. So this isn't a IA tool per se, but we do manage it. But IA has their own tools that we're happy to share with you and provide. And I'm sure there are some webinars later, Kelsey, right? For those
Absolutely.
that we have.
Absolutely. So I do want to remind you, as she said, you can go to Invest Atlanta's website. I believe we go to contact and you can scroll down and you can actually book one-on-one meetings with me, Aaron, and several other of our team members and ask questions about small business. You can ask questions about anything. We'll set up a 30-minute call. You can sit down with me and we can re-go over this program if you want to and talk about our other programs. And we really encourage you to have these one-on-one opportunities, kind of talk about your business, and we can talk about the resources we have here in Invest Atlanta. Let's see, I have all the questions. We got another one. Hi, I'm not sure if it was answered, but what about the West Midtown area? Now, because we did go over that, I will remind you that the tools that we were using on this webinar will be emailed to you before the end of the week. You can access that map. You can type in any address that you're looking for to see where it is. That she showed us on that top right corner. There's boxes that we can click to see if it's an opportunity zone, if it's 15% poverty? What was it, 15%? Yeah, so if it's pink, we know if it's pink, there's opportunity, and if it's green, it's an opportunity zone. So we want to make sure that we turn those pink areas to green areas so we can develop those areas. So if your business is in the green area, then you are qualified for the opportunity zone tax credit that we were talking about today on this call. But again, if you have any more deeper questions, you can contact us via email and that information will be sent out. But you also can set up a one-on-one consultation with us, and we'll be glad to go over those your questions and tell you more about our programs. Yes. What else? Ooh, all right. Guys, I want to say thank you because I'm going to let you guys go because everything else I can take from here. But Maya and Aaron, I want to say thank you again for a great presentation. I honestly, when we went out in the field, we walked the streets about opportunity zones, and I had no clue what we were talking about. Like, I didn't know, but this presentation gave me more than enough information that I feel confident enough to share with somebody else. So I thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for this presentation. I hope you guys that were watching got some great information from it. We still got questions coming in. I want to answer them all too. Oh no, just thank you. So you're welcome, guys. I do want to remind you of a couple more things that are happening here in February with our small business team. On February 16th, we have IPCOM, which is an organization that helps us with marketing. They're part of our ATL and business program, where we give no-cost business assistance to City of Atlanta businesses. They'll be on our webinar on February 16th at 6 o'clock to talk about how to do smarter marketing. And we also have an in-person business networking mixer. Yes, in person. That means come one, come all. Come to Pittsburgh Yards. We have a in-person business mixer at Pittsburgh Yards on February 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. We are partnering with Comcast NBCU's Ignite program, which is an accelerator program. We'll have several accelerators from the City of Atlanta to be there, so we can put the business owners with the accelerators and their programs all in one room. Y'all can talk, y'all can mix and mingle, get resources, find out how to sign up for some of these programs, and we'll have a great time. To be light refreshments, some little snacks. We'll mix and mingle, and we'll go home and enjoy Friday and Saturday going into the weekend. But I want to remind you, February 23rd, Business Networking Mixer, Pittsburgh Yards. And then February 16th, we have another webinar, that's next Thursday, about smarter marketing with IPCOM. I'm so excited, man. I'm just so happy to have the opportunity to share our resources and our programs with you all. I'm glad you guys tuned in, you had great questions, and we'll just continue to do this. I want to make sure I'll go through there one more time, make sure I didn't miss anybody's question, but I think we answered them all. With low revenue in a business of Atlanta, Investing has to fund the programs for micro business to grow. And you know what? We have a micro business loan program. And so with our loan program, if you set up a meeting with me, the small business, I would love to talk to you about our small business loan programs that we have at interest rate 3% or below. I'll be happy to talk to you about all our programs. Just book a one-on-one with me. I appreciate you guys. You have a great evening. We'll see you next Thursday. Please go onto our website and make sure you click the link to RSVP for it and for the one at Pittsburgh Yards. And we'll see you at one of our events. Thank you all. You have a great evening.